Do you know of Valentinian I, the lesser-known Roman emperor? If not, allow me to introduce myself. I am Flavius Valentinianus, a Roman emperor who ruled during the 4th century AD, amidst a time of great political and military challenges. My life was filled with battles, both on the field and within the intricate web of Roman politics. This is my story, one of hardship, triumph, betrayal, and legacy. I was born in the year 321 in Cibalae, Pannonia, in what is now modern-day Croatia. As you can see, my beginnings were humble and contributed to distaste for the ostentatious, which would get me in trouble in later years, as we'll soon see. My later detractors used my upbringing against me and painted me as from brutish military stock. My father, an army officer, instilled in me a sense of duty and strength from a young age. Our home was modest, but it was filled with the sounds of military training and the discussions of war strategies. I was very close to my younger brother Valens. We would often play in the fields or lean together from our tutors in the atrium, or walk the garden discussing politics. These moments of youthful camaraderie were fleeting, as the reality of our responsibilities loomed ever closer. From an early age, I knew that my destiny lay within the military ranks. My education was rigorous, focusing on both physical and intellectual development. I learned the art of warfare, the intricacies of Roman law, and the philosophy that shaped our empire. My tutors were stern, but fair, instilling in me a resilience that would become essential in my later years. As I grew older, my path became increasingly intertwined with the military. My father's influence helped me secure a position within the army, where I served with dedication. My early military career took me to Africa, where I witnessed firsthand the challenges of maintaining the far-reaching borders of our empire. These experiences were formative, shaping my understanding of the vast responsibilities that came with power. Yet my journey was not without its trials. I faced disgrace when I refused to renounce my Christian faith under the rule of Julian the Apostate. This moment of defiance was a significant turning point in my life, a testament to my unwavering beliefs and the inner strength I would need to navigate the treacherous waters of Roman politics. I served under Julian's successor, Jovian, and it was during this period that my fortunes began to change. Jovian's untimely death in 364 created a power vacuum, and the commanders of the army, recognizing my capabilities, proclaimed me emperor at Nicaea. It was a moment of immense pride and daunting responsibility. My first act as emperor was to appoint my beloved brother Valens as co-ruler, assigning him to govern the East, while I retained control of the West. Together we vowed to restore and strengthen the empire. My ascension to the throne marked the beginning of a new chapter, but it was merely the prologue to a story filled with intense battles, political intrigue, and personal sacrifice. As emperor, I faced the colossal task of defending our borders against relentless invasions while managing the internal strife that threatened to tear our empire apart. In the next part of my tale, I will recount the ascension to the throne and later challenges and triumphs of my reign, from the fierce battles with the Germanic tribes to the administrative reforms that sought to stabilize our empire. Join me as I continue this journey, revealing the depths of my struggles and the heights of my victories. Stay tuned, for my story is far from over. Imagine the year 364 AD. The Roman Empire teeters on the edge of chaos. The throne is vacant, and uncertainty reigns supreme. Into this maelstrom, I, Valentinian, was thrust. The story of my ascension is one of determination, strategy, and a bit of divine favor, or perhaps simply good fortune. When Emperor Jovian died unexpectedly, the empire was left without a leader. The commanders of the army convened at Nicaea, and after much deliberation, they proclaimed me emperor. I remember that day vividly, the weight of the empire settling onto my shoulders, the realization that my life would never be the same. The soldiers' cheers echoed in my ears as I accepted the purple, a symbol of both power and burden. One of my first acts as emperor was to ensure stability and continuity by appointing my younger brother Valens as co-ruler. Valens and I had always been close. We often played in the fields or leaned together from our tutors in the atrium, discussing politics and dreams. Now we were partners in governance, divided by the East and West, but united in purpose. I assigned Valens to govern the eastern provinces while I took charge of the West. This division of power was meant to fortify our rule, but it also foreshadowed the complex and often strained dynamics of dual leadership. The early days of my reign were marked by urgent threats. The Alemanni, a formidable Germanic tribe, were pressing hard against our borders in Gaul. In January 365, my generals faced a devastating defeat at their hands. I knew I had to act swiftly and decisively. By October, I had set up residence in Paris, directing military operations personally. My general, Jovinus, played a crucial role in this campaign, securing 3 significant victories against the Alemanni. The final battle at Dura Catilinum was particularly brutal, but it resulted in heavy casualties for the Alemanni and secured Gaul for years to come. These military victories were essential, but they were just the beginning. My responsibilities extended beyond the battlefield. I had to manage the vast territories of the Western Empire, implement administrative reforms, and ensure the loyalty of my subjects. Religious tolerance was a cornerstone of my policy. Unlike my brother Valens, who struggled with religious strife in the East, I maintained a policy of tolerance, believing that unity was paramount in the face of external threats. One memorable scene during this period was a moment of levity amidst the stress of governance. Valens and I, weary from the day's work, found ourselves in the palace gardens. We laughed about our childhood antics, reminiscing about the times we debated politics with the fervor of young dreamers. "Do you remember?" Valens chuckled, "when we thought we could solve all the empire's problems with a single decree?" We laughed, knowing now the complexity of our roles, yet those moments of brotherly camaraderie were a balm to our heavy burdens. The challenges of ruling an empire were relentless. In 367, I moved to Ambiani to better communicate with my general Theodosius, who was defending Britain from invaders. It was a strategic decision that underscored the necessity of strong, coordinated defense across the empire. Meanwhile, to secure the line of succession and ensure stability, I proclaimed my 8-year-old son Gratian as co-emperor. This decision was met with both support and skepticism, but I believed it was essential for the future of the empire. As the years progressed, I devoted my attention to fortifying the empire's borders, particularly along the Rhine. This period of relative stability allowed me to implement various administrative reforms aimed at strengthening our governance. Yet the spectre of invasion was never far away. In 375, an invasion by the Quadi in Pannonia demanded my immediate attention, leading me to Sirmium, where fate would soon deal a cruel hand. But that is a tale for another part. As I faced these myriad challenges, I knew that every decision, every battle, every alliance would shape the legacy I left behind. Join me in the next part of my story, where I delve deeper into the heart of my reign, the struggles and the defining moments that etched my name into the annals of history. Stay with me, for the story of Valentinian I is far from its climax. As I continued my journey as emperor, The weight of my responsibilities bore heavily on my shoulders. My reign was a relentless battle against external threats and internal strife, but it was also a time of significant accomplishments and profound challenges. The year was 367 AD, and the empire was under constant threat from various barbarian tribes. The Alemanni in Gaul had been temporarily subdued, but new threats emerged on other fronts. One of the most pressing issues was the defense of Britain. Saxon, Pictish, and Scottish invaders were wreaking havoc, and I needed a trusted general to handle this dire situation. Enter Theodosius, a brilliant military mind and a man I deeply trusted. I moved to Ambiani to maintain closer communication with him, ensuring our strategies were aligned. This period was also marked by a significant decision, proclaiming my 8-year-old son Gratian as co-emperor. It was a calculated move to secure the line of succession and instill a sense of continuity and stability within the empire. However, the decision was not without controversy. Many questioned the wisdom of appointing a child to such a significant role, but I believed it was essential for the empire's future, and I stood by my choice. While the defense of our borders occupied much of my attention, I also focused on internal reforms. Strengthening the administrative framework of the empire was crucial. I worked tirelessly to streamline tax collection, improve infrastructure, and fortify our defenses. The construction of elaborate fortifications along the Rhine was a testament to our commitment to safeguarding the empire. These efforts were not glamorous, but they were vital to the survival and prosperity of our people. Amid these tumultuous times, I often found solace in my memories of simpler days. One evening, after a long day of strategizing and governance, I wandered into the gardens of my residence. There I found my brother Valens. We sat on a bench reminiscing about our childhood. "Remember when we would debate politics with our tutors?" Valens asked with a smile. "We thought we had all the answers back then." We laughed, sharing a rare moment of levity amidst the heavy burdens of our rule. These moments with Valens were precious, a reminder of our shared journey and the bond that had always sustained us. But the trials of my reign were far from over. In 375, the Quadi, a Germanic tribe, launched an invasion into Pannonia. This was a direct threat to our homeland, and I knew I had to respond swiftly and decisively. I traveled to Sirmium to oversee the defense personally. The situation was dire and tensions were high. During a heated meeting with local leaders, I found myself overwhelmed with anger and frustration. The stress of constant warfare and the immense pressure of leadership took their toll. In the midst of my tirade, I suffered a stroke. It was a moment of vulnerability that would change the course of my life. As I lay in my quarters, struggling to recover, I reflected on the relentless challenges I had faced. The battles, the political maneuvers, the endless decisions, each had shaped me into the ruler I had become. But now, as I grappled with my own mortality, I wondered about the legacy I would leave behind. Would I be remembered as a strong and decisive leader, or as a man who succumbed to the pressures of his position? My story is not yet over, and the final chapters hold revelations and reflections that will define my place in history. Join me in the next part of my tale, where I confront my mortality and the lasting impact of my reign. Stay with me, for the story of Valentinian I is reaching its poignant and dramatic conclusion. The year was 375 AD, and the empire I had dedicated my life to defending was once again under siege. The Quadi invasion in Pannonia demanded my immediate attention. As emperor, I had faced countless threats, but this time the stakes felt higher. The weight of my years as a ruler, the endless battles and the constant pressure had begun to take their toll on me. Traveling to Sirmium, I knew this confrontation would be pivotal. My mind raced with strategies and plans, but the strain of leadership was ever present. During a heated meeting with local leaders, my frustration boiled over. The constant challenges, the never-ending decisions, it was all too much. In the midst of my tirade, I felt a sudden, sharp pain. My vision blurred and I collapsed. I had suffered a stroke. As I lay in my quarters, the realization of my vulnerability hit me hard. For the first time, I faced the true fragility of my existence. The mighty emperor, the steadfast defender of Rome, brought low by a stroke. It was a humbling experience, and it forced me to confront my mortality in a way I had never done before. In those moments of weakness, my thoughts turned to my family. I thought of my son Gratian, so young and full of potential. Would he be ready to take on the mantle of leadership? Would he have the strength and wisdom to navigate the treacherous waters of Roman politics? I had done my best to prepare him, but the future was uncertain. One evening, as I lay in bed, my brother Valens visited me. His face was etched with worry, but he tried to put on a brave front. "You need to rest, brother," he said, his voice gentle. "The empire can wait. Your health is more important." We talked for hours, reminiscing about our childhood and the dreams we once had. "Remember when we thought we could solve all the empire's problems with a single decree?" I chuckled weakly. Those were simpler times. Valens and I shared a deep bond, and his presence was a comfort during this difficult period. But I knew that I had to face the reality of my situation. My time was running out, and I needed to ensure that the empire would endure beyond my reign. I began to make preparations, issuing orders and finalizing plans. I wanted to leave the empire in the best possible position, even if I could no longer lead it myself. As the days passed, my condition worsened. The stroke had taken a severe toll on my body, and I felt my strength ebbing away. On November 17th, 375, in Brigetio, Pannonia Inferior, I breathed my last. The mighty emperor, who had defended the empire against countless threats, was gone, but my story does not end with my death. My legacy lived on in the empire I had fought so hard to protect. I had fortified the borders, implemented reforms, and maintained a policy of religious tolerance. My reign was marked by both triumphs and challenges, but I had always strived to do what was best for Rome. In the next and final part of my tale, we will explore the legacy I left behind. How would history remember Valentinian I? What impact did my reign have on the Roman Empire and its future? Join me as we delve into the lasting legacy of my life and rule. Stay with me as I share with you my legacy. And so, my life came to an end on November 17th, 375 AD. I left the world at Brigetio, Pannonia Inferior, now modern-day Hungary, having spent my final years as a bulwark against the tides of chaos threatening the Roman Empire. My death was not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter for Rome, shaped by the policies and decisions I made during my reign. As news of my passing spread throughout the empire, a wave of uncertainty and grief followed. My son, Gratian, was thrust into the role of sole emperor in the West, while Valens continued to rule the East. The responsibility I had carried was now theirs to bear, and they would be tested in ways I could scarcely imagine. My legacy, however, was more than just the mantle of leadership passed to my successors. It was etched into the very fabric of the empire. My efforts to fortify our borders had provided Rome with a crucial line of defense against the relentless invasions. The elaborate system of fortifications along the Rhine, which I had overseen, stood as a testament to my commitment to Rome's security. These defenses would prove vital in the years to come as barbarian threats continued to loom large. Religious tolerance was another hallmark of my reign. In an era of great religious conflict, I maintained a policy that allowed for a measure of peace and coexistence. While my brother Valens struggled with religious strife in the east, my approach in the west set a precedent that would influence future emperors. I believed that unity was paramount, and this belief guided my governance. Historians would come to view my reign through different lenses. The great pagan historian Ammianus Marcellinus painted me as an emperor with a temper, prone to bouts of anger and superstition, yet acknowledged my energy and dedication. In contrast, the Christian scholar Jerome portrayed me as tolerant, brave, and responsible. These differing perspectives underscored the complexities of my rule and the varied impact I had on the empire. One particular moment that encapsulates my legacy occurred shortly after my death. Gratian, despite his youth, displayed remarkable wisdom and courage. He sought to continue the work I had started, focusing on fortifying the empire and maintaining its stability. In one of his first acts as emperor, he addressed the troops in Trier, the city where I had once resided. Standing before the soldiers who had served under me, he spoke with a conviction that belied his years. "My father's legacy is one of strength and unity," he declared. "We must honor his memory by continuing his work, by defending our borders and upholding the values that make Rome great." Valens, too, felt the weight of my legacy. He faced immense challenges in the East, but he often recalled our discussions and debates, the lessons we had learned together. In moments of doubt, he found strength in the bond we shared, the memories of our childhood spent playing in the fields and learning from our tutors in the atrium. Our shared experiences, our brotherly camaraderie, provided him with the resolve to face the trials ahead. As for the people of Rome, they remembered me as a leader who had tirelessly worked for their security and prosperity. My reign was not without its flaws, but it was marked by a steadfast commitment to the empire's well-being. The fortifications I built, the policies I implemented, and the battles I fought, all these left an indelible mark on Rome. My story, the story of Valentinian I, is one of resilience and dedication. It is a testament to the strength required to lead an empire and the sacrifices demanded by such a role. My life was a series of battles, both external and internal, but it was also a journey of growth, learning, and legacy. And so, as you reflect on my tale, I encourage you to delve deeper into the rich history of Rome. Explore the stories of other emperors, the rise and fall of dynasties, and the enduring legacy of an empire that shaped the world. Share your thoughts and questions. Engage with the history that continues to resonate through the ages. As a lover of history, consider the benefits of experiential travel to places like my birth city of Cibalae in modern-day Croatia, or to the eternal city of Rome, where history comes alive around every bend and behind every fountain. You may also enjoy the hobby of presidents, potentates, and kings, that of ancient coin collecting. Holding history gives you a sense of what it was like to live in the past and makes history more meaningful than ever before. For now, my tale is complete, but the story of Rome and the legacy of its emperors lives on. Check out our other videos where history comes alive. Our channel, The Renaissance Spirit, is dedicated to the pursuit of a just, equitable, and humanitarian world. Here, we delve into a wide array of topics, including history, politics, religion, personal development, society, culture, social and environmental justice, and the liberal arts and sciences. By exploring ancient Rome and the Roman Empire, we draw fascinating comparisons and contrasts to the modern world topics, perfect for the true modern polymath. The Renaissance ushered in a golden age, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge, both knowledge lost to time and knowledge yet to be discovered. It gave birth to the Enlightenment and the Age of Reason, embracing truth, knowledge, and a compassionate understanding of humanity and our shared history opens up the world to each of us individually and collectively. This understanding improves all of humanity, affording us the opportunity to be better stewards of the earth and to each other. The Renaissance spirit is more than just a philosophy or style. It is a way of living, learning, growing, and thinking. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and share. If you're eager to explore and experience all that life has to offer, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other videos on our channel. Feel free to peruse, and let me know in the comments what you gain from them and what other topics you'd like to see covered. But first, take the quiz to find out if you're a true Renaissance spirit. Live the Renaissance spirit. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Farewell, and may history continue to inspire and enlighten you. And now, may I present Protector of the Realm, a tribute and music video of my realm. Enjoy. Hail Caesar!
Valentinian takes the throne, iron fist yet heart of stone. For the people he stands tall, to protect them one and all. Armies march at his command, peace and order in the land. From the hills to far off shores, justice reigns forevermore. Protector of the realm, guiding us with wisdom's helm. Valentinian, strong and true, we owe everything to you. Enemies may rise and fall, but his fairness towers all. Shield in hand he leads the way, night to turn into the day. In the halls of power grand, voices whisper of his stand. Yet the truth his reign shall tell, under him we all shall dwell. Protector of the realm, guiding us with wisdom's helm. Valentinian, strong and true, we owe everything to you. Enemies may rise and fall, but his fairness towers all. Shield in hand he leads the way, night to turn into the day. In the halls of power